Monday, everybody. I hope you're doing wonderful wherever you are logged into our YouTube channel. My name is Scott Mendenhall, and it's going to be a beautiful day. Yes, I still have Viking things spinning around on my desk because I am a loyal Viking fan, even though we lost. Unfortunately, so did the Buccaneers for our friend and teammate Dan in the chat as well. This is not a football podcast at any stretch of the imagination. This is where we talk about things that make your life better and make you better at life. And so we're excited to have you with us today. Jump in the chat where we can talk with you and interact with you. We have Lily Wiener next to me. She's on the left today.
Hello.
Fixing her hair.
I was fixing it.
You feel good about it?
It's fine.
It's fine.
We just make sure it's not too crazy, and then we just come in.
Then we come in. Okay.
Into the studio, and I have a blanket.
She has a blanket. She's playing the old woman card today for us because she's
cold.
You're cold. You got the blanket going on. Then you have like a scarfy thingy going on, but it's too thin to be a scarf. I love
how you say old women, and I go, this is European vibes. Like, I'm ready to have a baguette and espresso.
Yep, that sounds like I don't know. That's if I was to write a character in a movie about being older, those would be things I would have that character do for sure. I guess
you haven't seen Emily in Paris then.
Is she your friend?
No, it's a show. I actually haven't seen it, but it's very popular.
Well,
and she's young.
But how do you know what she's wearing if you've not seen it? Just
I've
saying.
seen pictures and stuff.
Oh, what do they say about pictures?
1,000 words.
Yeah, what do you think video's worth?
So many more.
So many more. Thank you for quantifying that. Thank you for
words.
putting it inside context for all of us. Hey, we are excited about talking about things today that, like, in the pursuit of happiness. So if you're on a quest to get happy, this is a great place to be today because we're going to give you some details, some information on how to be happy. So just shocking news here is probably not what you expect. It's probably not the things that we see in magazines or commercials or any of those things that are marketed to us about how to get happy. We're going to talk about those things today, which I really enjoy. But before we get to that, we want to do housekeeping things. Sometimes we save this to the end. One, brand new around here, subscribe to this YouTube channel. We would love to hit 1,000 as subscribers. We have a lot of viewers through the week, but we'd love for you to subscribe to this YouTube channel because we're always putting out content that's going to make your life better and make you better at life. So go ahead and click that little button. That's housekeeping number one. Number two, we have a big old mission trip we're taking. Now, to context this, to put it into some kind of, if you've not grown up in the church, you've never probably heard that term. It's not something you would hear like General Mills say, hey, we're going on a mission trip today. But we are as a church. This is a cool opportunity for the entire church, those that call Unlock Church home online, and those that come to the campus or the location here in Champlin, Minnesota. We're trying to get everybody together to go on a mission with one purpose in mind, with a mission in mind. It's like, you ever watch the movies, I almost said Mission Impossible?
I have never seen them.
You haven't?
I know what they are, though. I think I've seen, like, parts. But
wow. Okay,
I just brought up a show called Emily in Paris, so I think we know what I'm interested in.
Yeah, I would just like to take a real quick, just put in the chat if you have seen Emily in Paris or Mission Impossible.
Now, again, I have not seen it, so I am not endorsing. Anyways, I know that Tom Cruise is in Mission Impossible.
Yeah, okay, so you've not seen either one of them, so I guess it really doesn't.
Yeah,
but, like,
I'm not really a contender at all.
You're not.
No.
You just
Lame.
know. Oh, yeah, like.
Meh.
Nope, that's the doorbell sound.
Bad. That's not
this
right.
one. This is the sound for Lily
that's
today.
That's like a boing.
We do have Dwayne, who's always silent. Dwayne at some point needs to be like yelling, hey, I'm in the background. Introduce me already. We got Dwayne from Mississippi. How are you doing, Dwayne?
I'm good. I'm always content just to sit here and listen to you, Lily.
I'm so glad.
Kind of go at each other.
I'm so glad. I'm so glad it entertains you, Dwayne.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So glad.
Dwayne is a good friend of ours, one of the wisest people we get to do life with. We are trying, Dwayne, we didn't fix the pixelation problem. It is on our end. It is not Mississippi. It is us. We are trying to upgrade technology around here, just software, to fix whatever is happening with the streaming, and we are not. We can see you. but it's like 1995 version. It's like I got a flip phone looking at you.
I mean, 95 version, I would have a little bit more hair on the top of my head. So
that's not actually creating the look, unfortunately.
Not the look we want him.
Not the look we want.
You know, like with the pixelation going on, you could just like spray a little bit of like color there, like spray paint and like a matte finish spray paint. No one would ever notice. It would just blend right in.
Nick Orlando says Dwayne always puts a smile on my face.
Yeah,
I love that.
it's because you know what? You know when Dwayne speaks for a multitude of reasons, but he's got an accent, and it's fun to listen to anyone with an accent. So I like it. People also say that you're the one that they can understand the most around here, Dwayne, because you talk. We talk so fast.
Slow?
Yeah, you just talk where people can understand it. So it's not that you talk slow. It's that people say you talk at normal speed, where Lily and we talk ridiculously fast. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's the way it goes, right?
Us Americans and our conjunctions.
Interesting. Okay.
Like it's versus it is just makes us go faster, you know?
Yeah, right. Yeah, I got you. I'm not actually tracking, but okay. Sure. Okay, but mission trip, we're back to that. Dwayne, can you describe, you're not telling where or what we're doing, but what is, like, for somebody that's, like, brand new mission trip, what is that? Can you break it down?
Ooh, breaking down what a mission trip is. I mean, I feel like you did a great job of explaining. Like, it's multiple people going to a place having the same purpose in mind, going for a reason, on mission for God. Like it's like, hey, we're going to spread the gospel. We're going to love on people. We're going to be the hands and the feet of Jesus. Like that would be, I don't know. That's kind of how I would explain it.
Okay, I like it. The hands and feet of Jesus, meaning that we feel some kind of, I'm going to say, nudge or tap to go somewhere as a unit, as a team. Much like the Army picks locations or military picks locations to go on a mission. A mission trip would be, you could call it a quest, you could call it an adventure. But what I love about mission trips is you go to make a difference in the location you're going to, but God often makes a difference in your life because you've gone to say, I'm going to serve, I'm going to help other people, I'm going to make other people's lives better when actually I need some help. I'm going to serve first versus being served. It's a wild experience, and I think everyone should go. I think it's awesome for families to go on mission trips together. There's just something spiritual that happens on mission trips when you say, I'm going to go serve other people. And most of the time, I'm going to go serve other people. I'm going to pay to do it. Like you read through the book of Acts, which is a book in the Bible. And the book of Acts is authored by Luke. And Luke is documenting the early church and the mission trips they take. Paul goes on a mission. Barnabas goes on mission trips. Luke goes on mission trip to what? To go to a place to go and help a group of people, but also to take the message of Jesus with them. Okay, so that's the big setup to where we're going and when we're going. Okay, here we go. This is it. We're doing a mission trip to Dirt Surfers, which is a one-wheel race held at the Great Passion Play. See in the top left picture of this picture, you see the top left corner. That is the Jesus statue that's so famously been built on the location in Arkansas of the Great Passion Play. Dirt Surfers is a one-wheel event that they go to that location and hold a 3-day race. Now, we're going to be able to serve the one-wheel community. I'm super jacked on this, okay? If you don't own a one-wheel and you don't even know what a one-wheel, that's fine. We're going to go serve a group of people that didn't even know they needed to be served by a group of other people, where we're going to go love on them. We're going to wish them good luck. We're going to be right there in a place where there are all kinds of how would you say it? Buildings, scenes from.
Yeah, like you know, when places create replicas of something, that it's very much so like that, but it's across about 600 acres of land. So you are just riding your one wheel, and then you come up on something that looks like an ancient wine press, or the place where they that looks like what might have looked like the Last Supper. So it's just super cool.
Which will allow people to ask questions like, hey, what's the Last Supper? And you and I know it, and we can easily talk about the good news about Jesus. So that's part one of the mission trip. The other thing is we're going to help the Great Passion Play in Arkansas, Eureka Springs, Arkansas, get ready for their season where they're going to do the play, where they have thousands upon thousands of people come watch the play, and people find Jesus. Their relationship with Jesus begins at that play, because people that know Jesus bring their friends that don't know Jesus to this play, and then they give their life to Christ. It's wild. We're going to help build different things. We're going to paint things. There's just projects that they know we're going to do. I'm not aware of all the projects, but we're going to serve the first 3 days, and then we're going to serve the next 3 days. We're going to serve dirt surfers. It's going to be wild. It's going to be a cool mission trip. Very, very, I'm going to use the word unusual, but that's probably a negative connotation. A very unique mission trip. I'm really excited about it. It's one of those things as Unlocked Church, we feel very nudged and pressed in to do it, okay? It is going to cost. We will announce the cost next week. If you're online, you're going to have to figure out how to fly into, you got a couple options, but the best would be to fly into Bentonville? Bentonville.
Yes. It's the airport abbreviation is XNA.
Oh, look at that.
You start looking.
And that is, I believe, the headquarters of Walmart is down there. But that is about an hour from where we would be, on top of a mountain in Eureka Springs. I believe the dates are, we'll put that up one more time in case you missed the dates. In the top right, it's May 15th through the 22nd of 2023. That is about, 5 months from now. And so is that not right, Lil? You gave me a look like that's not right. You feel like it's not 5 months from now?
I guess it is.
You just did the math in your head after I said it?
I don't actually know.
Well, if June is the 6th month,
I guess so. I feel like it's so much sooner. I'm that excited.
4
I'm
months.
like counting down the
4
days.
months, Dwayne says. So
4 months.
Is July our 6th month?
Yeah, it would be 4 months from now.
4 months from now.
4 months from now would be the end of the mission trip. We had fun.
Yoo-hoo!
It's over.
Okay, so please, this is missions trips. I can't even say enough good, but some of it is you got to experience to know what it's like to go and just serve and not be served. What Jesus will do inside your life, inside this. So we make no money for you showing up, okay? This is as your friend and your pastors going, hey, this is good for your soul to go on a missions trip. There is a whole lot of things that are going to keep you from doing this. Oh, that's inconvenient on my time. That's inconvenient on my budget. That's inconvenient. I got dogs. I got to have somebody watch. All those things. But those are obstacles to keep you from going on a mission, okay? So, and you really be stoked about that, okay? So I'm stoked about it. It would be so cool to have. Our goal is to have around 20 people go. And so it's going to be, I'm stoked. Right, Lil?
Yeah, I'm excited. It's going to be really fun. It's going to be fun. Even if you guys could figure out, our online community can figure out how to get there, and we want to partner with you. Don't do that alone. If you have just the heart to get there, we can help figure that out. So be sure to text the church phone number. If you don't have it, we'll put it in the chat, and just say, I'm interested in the missions trip, and we will help you from there. It'd be really cool to have some of you guys with us there.
Yeah, I agree 100% with that. It's just something as a church, we've never really done this. Lily corrected me on this a couple weeks ago, that as a church, we did do one mission trip. We went to Puerto Rico, but it was more staff than people. And so this is the first one where okay, Unlocked Church is leading.
We're leading it.
It's going to have our vibes in it. Like I said, there will be a cost to it, but don't worry about it. It's should you go or not. Pray about it.
Yeah.
And then once you're in, you'll figure it out. You can we'll help you in that part. We'll have weekly or monthly meetings leading up once we get a team formed to really prepare everybody. Okay, I've spent a lot of time on that for you guys. And so we will move on past that. Just make sure you make a mental note of that. Also, if you call Unlock Church home, we have we're calling it Vision Night. Is that what we're kind of calling it?
We're calling it Vision Night.
Vision Night. But what we're going to do is, as a church, you put together a yearly budget. So this is some housekeeping stuff for all of those that call this home. We're going to do a meeting online at 8 o'clock Central Time where we're going to share the budget for 2023 of Unlock Church. Not every church does this, but it's just that transparency. So we're trying to make sure that you can trust your church. It's just one of those things that it's good accountability. The leadership team of Unlock Church will lead that meeting. Lily and I'll say hello and then hand it off to a couple of the leaders from the team, and they're going to just break down the budget of 2023. You'll get to see not all the details, but just a 10,000 mile view of what it takes and what it looks like for the budget of Unlock Church. I think you'll find out that we live what we talk about around here inside the church budget, in that we give a lot of our resources away, and that we're running as wise and as frugal. Is that a good term, frugal? Some people say scrappy. That we take and
I like scrappy better than frugal.
We do a lot with a little. So if you would like to you call this home, you give to Unlock Church, you're just like, I'd like to see how that looks like. And then the great thing is through that meeting, you'll know how to pray for your church. Like, that's the beautiful thing of this, is it's not about being a busybody. Ooh, I get the behind the scenes details. It's, now I know how to pray for my church. Because just like us as people, the enemy wants us to be distracted and to not accomplish the plans God's laid out for us. The same thing the enemy wants the church, not just our church, the church, to fail. And so this is going to give you a great insight on how to pray for your church in 2023 so that we can accomplish all the things God has set out for us. I want to read really quick. I don't know if this will make sense to all you, but I read this, and it's about the church. Not Unlock Church, but the church. And I want to read this really quick. It's to kind of put some context inside of, well, what is the church? Why would we give and it's not in this, but the church is God's A plan. It's not his backup plan. Oh, we failed at this. This is God's way of spreading the good news, is through his church. And so here we go. Church, Jesus central, hope alive, spirit moving. Those are that's if you're looking for goals, checklists, that is Jesus central, hope alive, spirit moving. Unexpected, expected. That's a tension.
Expect the unexpected?
No.
Is that what it's saying?
No. It's the unexpected, meaning I don't expect for Jesus to do anything, but I expect that he will. I'm not saying now do something for me but it's like, okay, all I need is what you already did, but I'm expecting. Cross raised, praise resounding, family united, word proclaimed, grace extended, broken mended, destinies changed, lost found, dead made alive, believers strengthened, values spoken, truth transforming, self-absorbed by a greater story, city changed, God glorified.
That's good.
That is, in a nutshell, Unlock Church. That's it. Every Sunday that you log in, every time we do like a mission trip or camps or those, it is all of that right there. That lives are changed, that we are we're going to move in a direction to do a mission trip, but we don't expect that God's going to provide it to be easy, but we do expect that it'll be life-changing. See how that is? It's not an expectation of give me, it's an expectation God change lives. So there's that tension, that unexpected, expected. It's this tension. That's inside the relationship, and it's lovely, and it's beautiful, and it's messy. We say here, messy people helping messy people. Dan's done a great job to remind us. I think he says it's the hungry right?
Just one beggar.
One
telling
beggar.
Another beggar.
Where to find food. That's
Yeah.
what it is. Yeah. That's just who we are as a church, and we want people to call this home. We want to grow online.
Yeah.
We want, Ryan is always reminding us that online there are heaps of people, like thousands, millions.
Online in general.
Online in general.
Yeah.
At any given moment.
Yeah. There are.
And we got to figure out how to spread the good news. We got to figure out how to play with the algorithms and all those things. We're going to do that. So today, we're spending a great deal at the front talking about where we're headed, the vision of Unlock Church, that we are partnering with you to unlock your God-given greatness, and we're going to be here every Sunday. Or who knows what happens in the future. But we're going to be here. Yeah. We're not going anywhere. This is your home church. We are here for you. We're going to do a digital small group moving into the new year where you guys can log in on some given night where we're doing life together to go through a book. If you want to get your book, you can order it. It's called what, Lil?
Rooted. And you can Google Rooted Small Group Book, or I think it's the rootednetwork.com. If you are subscribed to our email, the link straight to the Rooted Network website where you'll find the small group curriculum is on there. So we'll get it on our website this week as well in the small groups tab. But definitely join in for that. We'll have more information on that as the weeks come. We are still looking for leaders to host. So yeah, it's going to be good.
It's going to be good. But that's going to be where we get to hang out with you guys. I think Ryan put in there, was it 5 billion users? Is that right? Or 9? 5?
5 billion.
Billion users on YouTube. Only 2 billion of the 5 billion are followers of Jesus, are Christians. Think about that. So the pond is packed full of people that need to know Jesus. And so we really want, as a church online, to be able to grow. Like, we understand, that there's so much more out there, and we want to have an impact in it. Not for fame for us. I don't care about that stuff. I got enough stuff to do. I don't need that. It is to take what I know and have experienced, what Lily's knows and experienced, what Dwayne's knows and experienced, and make sure other people get to experience and know what we do. That their lives will be changed forever. That we can help. That we can step into people's messes and say, hey, I only recognize a mess because I am a mess. This is where the hope lies. This is where you get happy. All those things. And so today is Vision Sunday here at Unlock Church. This is where we cast a lot of vision, where we're headed, what we're about, and what we're going to do. We are about people. At the end of the day, people matter to us. We love people. Why do we love people? Because God loves people. Right? How do we honor God? We learn about God only to turn around and teach other people about God, to connect them to God. That's it. And try to make it in a way that would be enjoyable and be where people can understand it and it's applicable. Ooh, that's a word right there. That people can apply it to their lives and see God do anything different. Dwayne, do you have anything to add to what we're talking about here, or does this just get you excited?
It's just pumped up. Like, let's go. Let's do it.
Let's go. Yes. I like that. I think, Dwayne, when we talk about this mission trip, even in the mission trip, you can see, especially if people have ever gone on a mission, it is unique what we're doing. We're going to serve an organization that's going to continue to spread the gospel while we're gone. And then we're going to be around people, a lot of people that don't know Jesus. And we're going to be able to talk about Jesus. So we're helping somewhere. We're going to leave physical things better, but we're also hopefully going to be able to point people to Jesus and leave their spiritual lives better.
Yeah, I feel like this trip is very much Unlock. Like, it sums up the heart of Unlock. Like, we want to go to where the lost people are, to where the people that don't need Jesus, and we want to serve them. So very unique, but very Unlock.
Yeah, I like how you said very Unlock. Yeah, it's about it. We are trying to always do two things: love the people that are around us, and spread the good news to those that need Jesus, that don't have a relationship with Jesus. That's it. And so in this mission trip, we're going to do that. This is not our way of saying this is how mission trips need to be done. Churches need to do what God's called them to do.
right.
And we as a church play in a very interesting world where we are involved in the one wheel world, and I gotta be careful on the we play around in the one world, because that could be confusing and people might say, what are you on about? It's the one wheel, like my YouTube channel. We got people that follow, and it's like, man, we want to spread the good news to those people and be faithful with them. So, okay, I think, Lil, did we cover everything?
I think so. I hope you guys are intrigued. And again, if you are interested, please reach out. We want this to be for you too.
Exactly. Okay, I think we covered all the housekeeping things. We wanted to get it up front, especially as people have to go like Jeremy did and things. And I do want to point out, because some people are like, oh, why do the numbers jump up and down so much? Like we were at 8 a second ago, 19.
We were hitting almost 30 a
Yeah.
little bit ago, which is awesome.
Here's what is happening. That is a YouTube issue. That's what I'm telling you. We play with the computer. I got an email the other day that says the live stream numbers move around because it is a algorithm issue. It's not that we're dropping people and people are no longer watching. It's just their algorithm is doing something and they're trying to fix it. Those are the things that we don't get, right? We're at the mercy of those things. Some of the practical ways we're going to walk out trying to spread the good news in a bigger and better way is we're going to start to stream over the next months on Facebook at the same time. And we're really excited about that. Being able to simultaneously be on Facebook and on YouTube, two places where now, man, because there are some users that don't come from Facebook.
Yeah.
They stay on Facebook. We're going to be able to spread the gospel in a bigger capacity. And so super amped about it. And like I said, this is housekeeping stuff. If you're brand new around here, you got to kind of peek behind the curtain a little bit, who we are and what we're about. And so we're excited about that. As Lily said, we said enough there. We're gonna move on. Not enough is bad. Like, we covered it. Lily looked at me like, wait, I'm saying that in a good way.
Yeah, I think we're good. You did awesome casting that vision.
And so we are going to do the same thing at our physical campus here in Minnesota. We're going to talk about things there that will be unique to our campus, our location here. Lily being the students director, she's going to talk a lot about what the students are going to do, which is going to be pretty cool this afternoon. So if you're local in Minnesota, man, come to Unlock Church in Mann's Theater in Champlin, Minnesota, and sit in there and just listen and enjoy the morning. Okay, we're going to shift gears. If you want to get your Bible, I got mine today. My big old Bible. I was doing marriage counseling for an amazing couple the other day, and I read. This is what Bible I use for my morning time with God. I call it quiet time. It's not necessarily quiet.
You can call it whatever you want.
I don't know why I call it quiet. I got 8 children
No, not
running
just
around.
you. Oh yeah.
It's not quiet
It's not
at
quiet.
all. I had
Mine's very quiet.
I have to learn to just be able to focus
That's a good.
or
good thing
enjoy
to
the
learn.
chaos.
Yeah.
But nonetheless, I busted this out in marriage counseling. I was like, I gotta get the big Bible. And somehow people are intimidated by a big Bible, I've learned. Why do you think that is, Lil?
I don't know. I'm only used to big Bibles. I don't know that they come in.
Yeah, when I look at yours, it's like quarter the size of mine.
It's just like smaller in dimension, but I mean, I don't know. I'm not. I don't know. I'm asking the same question. I don't know.
Maybe Dwayne knows.
I get it. Like, I wasn't a reader growing up, so I only recently I'll say recently. I guess I've been married for 16 years now. Since we've been married, I've picked up reading for leisure, and it's like, when you're starting to read and you have these really big, thick books, it's like, man, that's intimidating because I've got to read through all of that. To where if you approach the Bible that way, I can see it.
I
But
can see
if
that.
you go,
I can see
Yeah.
that too, Dwayne. There's
Yeah.
nothing. There's no greater feeling when you're reading a book and you like put the bookmark in and then you look. I always look like, how far am I to the end? I'm like, I did work today.
I did work today.
I love that feeling.
Yeah.
It is without fault. I look every time I'm done reading. I look at
even
the
with
spine.
but not the Bible.
Not the Bible, no.
No,
Because
because-
I'm not reading it front to back.
Right.
Now people do that, and that's
That's
a really
great.
cool way to read the Bible. But I don't get that feeling when I read the New Testament because it's like,
No,
I got a lot more to go.
honestly-
It doesn't look like it, but I do.
Honestly, sometimes, like, because how thin the pages are, Like my kids were saying the other day, like the teenagers in the house, they're going, I want an adult Bible. And I was like, their Bible is no different than mine, like in appearance. And you open it, it's not a kid's Bible. It doesn't have pictures or anything. And I'm like, why do you think yours is a kid Bible and mine is not? They go, my pages are so thick, Dad. Yours are so thin. They think an adult Bible just means you have the thin pages. That's all they want. I was like, you guys have lost your little teenage minds. The thickness of the paper does not make it an adult to kids Bible. Nonetheless, they want an adult Bible, thin pages. But it's interesting as I do my morning time with God. There's oftentimes I stay on the same page for days. Like, it doesn't move. Like, it would be really discouraging if I was like, wow, I've been on the same page for a couple weeks. Because for me, I get not stuck in a negative way, but I just get stopped in an idea, a thought that I feel like God's trying to teach me. And it just takes a long time to reprogram my mind to think differently. So I just stay there until I feel like my brain thinks the way Jesus is trying to lay on my heart to think and loving my enemy. It's like, man, you gotta stay there for a while. That's a cute poster, right? Like a poster with two cats, one hissing at the other, and it says love your enemy. That's cute if you're into cats, I guess. If you're not, it's not. But that's cute. But the application of that, very complicated. Almost takes a life to figure that one out. So what we're gonna do,
and I will say, going on piggybacking what you said, Scott, like, there for a long time, it's like, you kind of feel like, well, if I don't get through a chapter, if I don't, read so much, then it's like, okay, I'm not being a good Christian, to where it's like, talking with Elizabeth this week, she kind of brought up, it's like, okay, hey, maybe you need to reset your expectations then and understand that, when you're obedient, when you get alone with God, he actually is going to honor that time that you are alone with him.
Yep.
So he sees, that your heart, that you're wanting to be alone, and he's going to take and he's going to use that. Whether you get through, a chapter, 2 chapters, or a verse or 2 verses, and just spend that time really trying to dive in. Okay, God, what are you saying to me? And then what do you want me to do about it?
That's
so
good.
He honors that.
And it's funny how inside our relationship with Jesus that we try to quantify it all the time and qualify it, right? It's like, if I read my Bible 1 chapter, God and I are good. But at least I don't do this in my relationships. I don't do that with, Lily and I, we're good friends because we've talked X amount of times this week. Or Holly, my wife, and I, we're really, we're struggling. Why? Because we didn't talk 100 times today. Or we didn't talk for 100 minutes today. There's no quantifying those things. You just can sense, we're drifting and you got to do something about it in relationships. But when it comes to our relationship, Jesus, we try to quantify it. 1 chapter a day is good. To pray, just to say hi to God really is like, I feel good about that. And it's just, man, if we would stop trying to qualify and quantify and just be in a relationship where we allow Jesus to tap us on the shoulder and say, all right, that attitude, that's no good anymore. Let's fix it. And then we dive in going, how do I fix that? Or God's like, okay, that laziness, not cool anymore. Or, hey, it's time to start giving more of your time or possessions or money. Okay, I'm going to do that as fast as possible. Instead of the opposite. So, what we're going to do to transition, because we're going to go into Philippians chapter 1, verse what? 20. It's taken us 3 weeks to get through 20 verses. Just that puts that in perspective. That's about how it is for me in real life. Like, not that this is not real life, but in my own relationship, that's about right. So, we're going to play Oceans, which is a phenomenally great song. But really, if you want to know, like, as a church, where are we headed? Man, we feel like God's calling us as a church into the deep where we don't have all the money for everything. We don't have all the understanding of everything. We don't actually know. We have ideas, but we don't know. But we are feeling called into the deep as a church and to continue to spread the gospel. And, like, when I'm saying we don't know, we know a lot of things, but it's like we don't know what God's going to do through YouTube or Facebook as we go to do that, but we feel led to do that. We know we're going to do a big old summer camp this year, and we don't know who's going to be there, how we're going to pull it off, where are the resources for that summer camp's going to go. We don't know. But we're moving in a direction because we know he knows. And that's what makes the relationship with God a lot of fun. Now, a lot of you are like, I don't like unknown. I don't like those things. Lily is one of those people in this world. She likes to know, don't you?
Yeah, I mean, of course. I think I'm on the boat with a lot of people who do. But I think I've gotten somewhat more comfortable in the unknown. She
has, for sure. For sure. Right? But for us, sometimes I'm like, hey, can you do this? And she wants to ask like 3 questions before we're moving in a direction. And sometimes in my shortness, I'll go, can you just do it without all the questions? Didn't I do that to you like a couple weeks ago?
Probably.
You're like, yes.
I don't remember, but probably.
She has.
I try not to keep track.
Ooh, that's what makes you a good friend. So we're gonna play this song called Oceans. It's such a good song to sing as a prayer. Like, think about the words. Because I think I heard an old pastor one time say, as followers of Jesus, we don't normally tell lies, we sing them. And it's always stuck with me that the words I sing, I better mean them or I'm not going to sing them. Like the song I Surrender All, or any song that talks about surrendering all. Sometimes I got to stop, put my hands in my pocket and just go, is that real today?
Yeah, that's good.
Today, am I willing to surrender all, or I got some things I don't want God to like take? Or, nope, that's mine. So just an interesting wrestle. Here's Oceans, and we'll be right back.
Call me out upon the waters, the great unknown, where feet may fail. And there I find you in the mystery, in oceans deep, my faith will stand. And I will call upon your name and keep my eyes above the waves. When oceans rise, my soul rests in your embrace. For I am yours, and you are mine. Your grace abounds in deepest waters. Your sovereign hand will be my guide. Where feet may fail and fears surround me, you never fail, and you won't start now. So I will call upon your name and keep my eyes above the waves. When oceans rise, my soul rests in your me walk upon the waters wherever you would call me. Take me deeper than my feet could ever wander, and my faith will be made stronger in the presence of my Savior. Spirit, lead me where my trust is without borders. Let me walk upon the waters wherever you would call me. Take me deeper than my feet could ever wander, and my faith will be made stronger in the presence of my Savior. Spirit, lead me where my trust is without borders. Let me walk upon the waters wherever you would call me. Take me deeper than my feet could ever wander, and my faith will be made stronger in the presence of my Savior. Spirit, lead me where my trust is without borders. Let me walk upon the waters wherever you would call me. Take me deeper than my feet could ever wander, and my faith will be made stronger in the presence of my Savior. Spirit, lead me where my trust is without borders. Let me walk upon the waters wherever you would call me. Take me deeper than my feet could ever wander, and my faith will be made stronger in the presence of my Savior. Spirit, lead me where my trust is without borders.
I know we're cutting it right off as it starts to build, and you're like, oh no, and you can hear it in the background like you want to just like shout it from the rooftop. You're going to have to go to Spotify or Apple Music and get it downloaded so you can play it. There are so many good versions out there. That's from Hillsong United. Their live versions are phenomenal, but the line there, as we fade it out in the background, that would be great. Take my feet to where my feet would not wander. Ooh, that's good. That's a good line. That's what I was talking about as Unlock Church in 2023. That's where we want to go. We don't necessarily know how we're going to get there, but when you think about when you're in water, ever been in the ocean and you're at the mercy of the tide, or you ever been in the river, you're at the mercy of the current.
Yeah.
That's where we want to be, because that's the best way to do life with Jesus, is to actually lose control. But so many of us want control, so we don't give up control. Therefore, we never get to experience the fullness of what God has intended for us. Okay, we're in Philippians chapter 1, verse 20 is where we're picking up. We're not going to give you the background story on this right now. There's a lot. It's really cool. Paul is the author, writing back to a location that he once visited, okay? That's the quickest version we can give you today. If you want more on that, go back in the previous two, and we give you a lot of details and information about who Paul is and why he's writing and how he writes this from jail. And this is considered the happiest thematic or the most joyful themes in the Bible in one book, which is very unique that it's wrote from prison. So if you can picture that, house arrest prison, not a dungeon prison. House arrest, got guards on the outside, I'm assuming, but he can't go anywhere without guards and things like that. So what we're going to do is going to read line by line. As things hop into Dwayne's mind, he's going to hop and go, hey, I thought about this week. As Lily is sitting in the studio today, and she has thoughts, she's going to go, I thought about this week. And we're just going to kind of go around today and talk about those things, and hopefully Jesus says something to you. Maybe he's already said something to you. I think we said a lot of profound things today so far. Not necessarily have we read any scripture, but we've talked a lot about what it's like to be a follower of Jesus. So thank you for those that are in the chat today. Here we go. Philippians chapter 1 verse 20. And if you're just coming in from the invite from my IG account, hey, welcome aboard. This was when I posted it. For some of you, while that video was playing, I thought, you know what? I'm going to go live on Instagram really quick and just make an invite. If you want to come be live, come be with us. So if you clicked it later in the week and you're watching, or later this afternoon and you start from the beginning, this was the point I made the invite to you. So you're where you're supposed to be for this current moment. We're going to use the Bible to talk about how to be happy, how to make our lives better and make other people's lives better. Here we go. This is what author Paul says to a group of people that are hundreds of miles from his location while he's in jail. I like this. He goes, "For I fully expect and hope that I will never be ashamed, but I will continue to be bold for Christ as I have been in the past." I love this expectation he puts. I fully expect. He's casting a lot of vision to his readers. I fully expect. Now, Dwayne has a different version of the Bible. There's a lot of different versions out there. Pick one that makes the most sense to you. Dwayne, did you hear about this in the office this week? Lily had an aha moment about her Bible that she was reading all through her high school career. What was that aha moment, Lil?
I did tell Dwayne. It's that my Bible was the same version as what Dwayne currently reads, that Scott's always calling the Homer Simpson version, because it's called the Holman Christian Standard, right, Dwayne?
That's correct.
HCSB, Holman Christian Standard Bible. And it just so happens that that's what I was reading in high school as a fresh young believer.
When she announced that in the office the other day, it scared me. It was very quiet in the office at that point. She goes, "Oh my gosh, you'll never guess!" And no one knows where we're headed when Annie says that.
Yeah, I was in the office when I was looking for the version. I was looking at the Bible in the office and found it while I was
So
there.
Dwayne has the Homer Simpson version, and so we want to. It's not really a Homer Simpson version, just to clarify. But Dwayne, what does yours say in that translation that you have? What does it say in Philippians chapter 1, verse 20?
Yeah, eager expectation and hope.
Eager and hope. Okay, I like that. How about you, Lil? What do you got over there today? What are you reading from?
I'm reading in the Message. He says, "I don't expect to be embarrassed in the least. On the contrary, everything happening to me in this jail only serves to make Christ more accurately known."
Okay, pause. Because I believe that's gone
Yeah,
on
the
to
Message
that
is
verse.
a little bit harder to read because it's kind of like
Well, it's not hard.
stanzas versus like, there's not like verse by verse by
Right.
verse. It's like 3 verses at a time.
It almost takes, a chunk of verses and makes it into... But as we read, I fully expect and hope that I will never be... Like, what are your expectations inside your relationship with God?
I would say, like, when you just ask what are your expectations in your relationship with God, it's like, I have love and I have grace and I have forgiveness and I'm free and I have joy, which are all good things. But do you think the first thing you'd say that you expect in your relationship with God is to be bold in his name and to be bold for him? I don't think that's everyone's first expectation.
No, but this is...
But it's like, it's challenging because it needs to be a part of our life. We need to be bold for Jesus.
But I think people translate bold for Jesus in being offensive and not doing it with love. But all those things need to come into that. Paul writes later on in another book, he goes, hey, listen, if I know a lot of things or I could tell the future, he lists off all lot of like amazing, cool things. But he goes, if I don't do any of that in love, I'm just a resounding gong. We've talked about that, but I'm just making noise. So if we don't talk about Jesus in put it all in love, in a context of love, then we're just resounding noise. We're making clatter. People aren't actually leaning in. They're leaning back. We want to always tell the good news in a way that makes people lean in. Oh, I want more. Not lean back. I don't want more.
Yeah.
And so I think some of us, our expectations in a relationship with God should not be, what is he doing for me lately? It should be, what am I doing for him lately? Am I telling other people about him? That's why we make the invite today for you to come in here, because we want you to know God. And he continues to write. And I trust that my life will bring honor to Christ, whether I live or die. For to me, living means living for Christ, and dying is even better. What? What? So, I mean, talk about a contrast here. And if you're like, this is what we're like, to live is...
This is something like I remember, and like speaking of my high school days when I was reading the Bible for the first time, I remember being like, what? Like, what is he saying? It's a lot to wrap your head around, but it's cool.
Yeah, so let's turn to
Unpack
our
it.
wise man, Dwayne, down there in Mississippi. Dwayne, how do you take this? How do we digest this, consume this for us as today reading words of Paul? How do we process it?
Yeah, so I think going back and looking, particularly in verse 21, says, "For me to live is Christ, and to die is gain." I mean, yeah, that goes completely against our culture and what the world says of, be like fearful of death and, like the uncertainty. But I think, again, as a Christian, we know like it's not an uncertainty. We know what happens when we die. So the fear is gone. And then, hey, you know what? If I live, you know what? I get a chance to really glorify God. I get a chance to continue to show that love and to continue to exclaim what God's done in my life and how He's changed me, and really show other people. And hopefully, God will use your words to your loved ones, your words to reveal Himself to your loved ones, to where they can have a relationship with Christ. But you know what? If I die, I get to be with Jesus. Like I'm there's no more hurt, there's no more pain. Like I get a new body. Like God, I get to spend my time with Jesus.
Yeah, and I want to give permission for those that you're listening. I'm not there yet. Don't heap guilt on you that you're not there yet. Like, that's okay to not be excited. Ooh, if I die, woohoo. Here's what I've understand inside any good, healthy relationship is that you grow and you understand more and you process more and you grow more. And eventually you do get to that spot where you're like, I want that more. And so over time, you might get there. And so I want to put it in another context, the way John wrote it. And we read this back in the summer, but we're going to go to 1 John chapter 3. And this is so if we go to 1 John, I want to make sure I'm saying 1 John chapter 3, verse 2 through 3. This is what he writes in 1 John chapter 3. See how much our Father loves us, that He calls us His children, and that is what we are. But the people who belong to this world don't recognize that we are God's children because they don't know Him. It's a reminder, like, man, when you recognize our position, that informs us of I want to be closer, I want to be around more. Also, John writes in 1 John chapter 3 at 16, we know what real love is because Jesus gave up His life for us. So we also ought to give up our lives for our brothers and sisters. If someone has enough money to live well and he's a brother in need, and goes on and talks about if he doesn't meet it, then he's probably not a follower of Jesus. Paul then goes on, listen, track this, why I read that. He goes on as he's writing in verse 22 here, but if I live, I can do more fruitful work for Christ. He's talking about what John wrote in there. Hey, if I live, I'm going to live for I'm going to actually still die. I'm going to put my life down for others so other people might live. And again, people like in the pursuit of happiness, it feels like this is not the right way to get happy. Wait, you want me to lay down my wants for somebody else's wants? How does that actually make me happy? Do you know scientists they've spent millions of dollars, probably billions of dollars on trying to figure out what makes people happy neurologically. Is that the right word, Lil?
Yeah.
Okay. What makes people happy neurologically, that there are rewards that the brain shoots off, dopamines and stuff that like, woo, gives you a little bit of high. You're like, oh, I like that. It's like adrenaline rushes, right? You do something extreme and you get the shot of adrenaline. You're like, ooh, I like that. I like the fuzzy feelings in all of my toes and fingers and stuff. That's the result of adrenaline. Dopamine gives you this high of like, ooh, man, that's good. I'm happy. I'm excited. It's exhilarating a little bit. And scientists have proven that when someone lays their wants and desires down for someone else, that you get rewarded with dopamine, which makes you feel better. It fights against depression and anxiety. So when you tend to feel anxious and and depressed, you know what you should do on the onset of that? Lay down your stuff and go serve someone really quick. Because it's the antidote. It's the thing that actually feeds into your happiness, but our skin lies to us. Wait, that doesn't help me. But Paul writes it, John writes it, and scientists have proven this. You want to be happy? Lay your life down. Lay your life. But if I live, I can do more fruitful work for Christ. So I really don't know which is better. I'm torn between two desires. I long to go and be with Christ, which would be far better for me. But for your sake, it is better that I continue to live. Knowing this, I am convinced that I will remain alive so I can continue to help all of you grow and experience the joy of your faith. And when I come to you, again, you will have even more reasons to take pride in Jesus Christ because of what he's doing through me. I like how Paul just says, hey, if he's giving you, like as we've been talking on this channel, where we're headed as this channel and church and stuff, we're talking about those things. Paul is talking about, listen, my vision for my life is that you see Jesus through me, that I'm going to lay down my life for you. And as I do that, it gives you more excitement in what Jesus is doing. Are people looking at your life and how you're laying your life down? And they're going, wow, look at that person. There's something different about them because they lay their life down for me constantly. Even though I use them and I hurt them, they're always constantly serving me. What is different? And they go to your Instagram feed or you say something like, no, I'm just one beggar trying to help another beggar find food, and that food is a relationship with Jesus. And people are like, wait, who's Jesus? Right? Like you're giving the hope of the world. You're ultimately teaching them where to find their happiness. And so if you are constantly struggling with your happiness, look at your life and ask yourself, are you serving? So therefore, if you are not serving, you don't have a position to serve, my goodness, get involved. Get involved in a soup kitchen. Get involved in Meals on Wheels. Get involved in the mission trip we're doing. Jump in and serve at work. Take cookies into somebody. Take brownies into somewhere. Lily, bring in muffins on Tuesday, right? It's just like...
Will you eat it? Will you eat muffins that I bring in? What will you eat? What do you eat? Do you eat?
I don't.
Do you nurse yourself?
I only drink no.
I'll bring something in. But I'm glad you brought up like to your workplace because it just makes me think of like wherever you are and not in a conceited way, but ask yourself, do I make these circles better? Do I make my family better? Do I make my home better? Do I bring life, and that is the life of Christ in you? Do I bring that to the places that I'm in? Are they actively better because I'm there? I think that's what Paul is saying, and it's not just because he's there. It's because he's saying, I'm going to preach Jesus to you. I'm going to be his love. I'm going to be his light to you, to the Philippians. And I think it's the question of, do you make those places better and more bright because Jesus lives in you? And then you get to speak of him being the reason that you're making those spaces better.
Yeah, I think a great way to put this question, are you dead weight or are you helium where you're lifting the room up?
Yeah, it's good.
And if you go, well, no, I don't really, there's no neutral here. Like that's just like we want to say there is, but there isn't. You're either lifting people up or you are an anchor. You're holding people down. You're Debbie Downer. You're a discourager. You're an Eeyore, always seeing the bad side of things instead of the positive. Because here we have Paul that could be right into the group of people. Worst situation of my life. They only feed me bread and water.
He's not saying, good luck, guys.
Yeah, it only
I'm
gets...
out. I'm out. It only gets worse from here. Yeah, he could be, like, if you think of the contrary of what he could be saying, it could be so much worse.
Right.
Like, and we don't have that because this was the reality for him.
And Paul is taking his circumstances and not allowing his circumstances to inform his joy. We do this all the time, that our circumstances drive our joy. Now, in real life, like, meaning being real, like, yes, all circumstances inform our feelings.
Yeah.
But they can't steer that can inform. Meaning, there are some times that it's like, yeah, I might not be excited about everything, but I'm not coming in head down defeated. I might for a second, but then I realize, oh, no, I'm a child of God. God is in control. God still sits on the throne. He's sovereign over everything. I mean, I'm 44 years old. I got a lot of life. In 44 years, I've not been at the top of the mountain for all 44 years. There's been some tragedy that has struck in my life that I would never have signed up some of my friends or my enemies to go through. But I try to constantly be where Paul is saying, hey, listen, where he says, there's some version that says, or maybe he writes it in another version where to die is to
Gain.
To gain.
That's what Dwayne said. To live is Christ.
Point.
To die is
Point for
gain.
Homer.
Point for Homer. And I know, okay, can you read it? Point for Homer. Homer coming in clutch today. Can you read it?
again. That's my favorite version of this part.
Yeah. Let me see. Where was it at again?
Verse 21.
Can we get Dwayne on the screen?
21. Yeah.
21.
For me, to live is Christ and to die is gain.
For me is Christ.
To live is
For
Christ.
me, to live is Christ and to die is gain.
Yeah, like I put in the chat, like I look at it as it's a win-win. Like if I'm living in and for Jesus Christ. I want him to be known and I'm being poured into by him. I'm being loved by him and fueled by him. And then to die, I gain because I get to be with him. So it's a win-win.
Then that's where we got to get. It's a win-win, but I do like that translation a lot because it's very simple. Whereas the way I read, I feel like I got to read like about 3-4 verses to get it. Whereas that is like, no, man, it's a win-win. But if I'm still alive, I'm preaching good news.
Yeah. And I think in to live is Christ. 4 words. If you ever look for the meaning of life, why am I here? What am I doing? What's my purpose? Jesus is the answer. Paul says it. To live is Christ. So how do you put that into everything you do? How do you put that into why you work out? How do you put that into why you study? It's all about Jesus. It's all about glorifying him and not glorifying yourself. Look, I'm studying. Look, I'm working out or whatever I'm doing. And it is all about pointing people to him. To live is Christ and Christ alone.
If we another simple application of this is that like we read through here, Paul never takes the credit. All these accolades that as you read through the life of Paul, he never takes the credit. He always points people to God. He's like, look what God has done in my life. Look through Jesus, look what God has done in my life. We've used this analogy a lot here, this example, that we need to be the moon, that we need to be reflecting the sun. The moon has no light. It's a ball of rock, and it reflects the sunlight at night. And so many times, I mean, this was a week ago or so. It's probably, I don't know, it was negative something. But at midnight, I was like, how you want to go walk in this deep old snow because it's 2.5 feet out there and it's so much fun. And the moon was out. It was full on moonlight. And you didn't need a flashlight to walk through the woods. So Holly and I went at midnight and walked through the woods. And we're laughing our heads off because you'd step into a drift that's well over your knees and we'd fall and the dogs are running around and you could see everything is beautiful. And then we went and laid in the snow for, I don't know, a half hour or something. You just looked up at the moon and it's like, man, this thing's so beautiful. And you forget that that's not like it is beautiful, but it's the sunlight off the moon that makes it so beautiful. What makes our message so beautiful is the sun, God's one and only son who died on a cross and rose again because why? He loved all of us, every race, every man and every female. He loved all of us in our messes, and he sent his son Jesus down on a cross for us. That's the message we constantly need to tell people. Now, I'm so good. I do like a lot of people were getting just saying, man, I love what Get That PC was saying in the chat. He's talking about his wife was diagnosed with MS in 2006. 17 years later, she's still walking. talking and living in God's healing. He's giving the credit not to how strong his wife is. However, I can read between the lines. There's some about some people that are still fighting. There's a drive, but the credit's going to God.
Yeah.
Going to God. I follow CrossFit on Instagram, and they posted some similar stories of people being diagnosed with different life-altering things, and their credit went to CrossFit's what got them through it. CrossFit's what healed them. CrossFit's allowed them to keep moving. Yes, it has played a part, but God gets the credit. That's where we've got to move to, that God gets the credit, that it's not how good we are. And I just love how Paul doesn't steal any of the credit ever. He's not going, look how awesome I am. He deflects it all the time. And there is an art to this because you don't want to come off cheesy, right? Like those people sometimes people go, hey, that was a good message. I could go and point to the sky, like hit my chest, like, no, it's all about, that's cheesy. That's weird. But I could take it, and I just heard, I think it was Steven chuckle a little bit, so I know that he's like, yes, that's weird.
You always know what's weird. Like, you just know.
Yeah.
Don't be weird.
It's not authentic.
Yeah.
Right? It's not authentic. It's got to be, sometimes you stay quiet in the moment, but you pray at night going, God, thank you for what I got to do today, because you used me to do what you wanted to do. Just use me. A great way to start your days that will get your heart positioned in this is lay in your bed and say, God, use me today. Here's my hands. Here's my feet. Use me today.
Yeah, I'm available.
Yeah.
But don't say it unless you mean it.
But then when you do something, when you see need,
when
meet
you
a need.
see it, do it.
But when you do it, because you're going to, you're going to see the need, you're going to be available, and you give a great encouragement message to somebody, whatever it is, don't take the credit.
Yeah.
Oh, it's because I'm so talented. I'm awesome. No. It's because you are just applying Jesus' principles. The applications of Jesus' principles will make your life better and make your life better. That's just true. We try to take it into a sentence that makes sense to when we apply Jesus' principles, our life does get better. But because our lives get better and we're loving other people how we're supposed to, it makes their lives better. It's a beautiful thing. You want your job to be better, you get kinder. It's on you. You cannot control other people. I can barely control myself sometimes. Now, let's move on after he's just talked about this choice between live and dying, and he goes on, above all, you must live as citizens of heaven. Conduct yourselves in a manner worthy of God's good news. Worthy of the good news about Christ. Live in a manner. I love this. Live in a manner that somebody would look at your mess and see the good news at play. What does your version say, Dwayne?
Okay, just one thing. As citizens of heaven, live your life worthy of the gospel of Christ.
Yeah, worthy. Okay, how about you, Lil?
Live in such a way that you are a credit to the message of Christ.
I wonder what the NIV says.
I can look it up.
Because I know what he's saying here, and I love it. But I feel like there's got to be a way that makes it a little bit like above all. So he's saying above all things, like this needs to be top of our list. Live as a citizen of heaven.
This says, NIV says, whatever happens, conduct yourself in a manner worthy of the gospel of Christ.
We could sit there for a while.
That's a good heavy weight, like in a good way.
I wish Collins was here. Some people have asked, where's Collins? He's leading a prayer meeting at a church that is around where he lives, and so that's where he's been. And anytime somebody can lead something like that, we're like, yeah, go do it. And so he'll be back at some point. I think some people thought there's been a falling out between me and Collins. That is not true. I talk to him almost daily. but he is doing that. That's where he's at.
And while you're here, can you say where Joey is? 'Cause
Oh, yeah.
Someone just asked.
Joey is at the location here in Minnesota doing a project over there. He's helping all the environments there, so that's where he's at.
Okay, Elizabeth just put in the chat, like it paints an accurate picture of the gospel. Like your life paints an accurate picture of the gospel. That's good. Guess what's permanent? Paintings. I mean, you could paint over it, I guess. But I just thought of that. Like, it's permanent, and that's what sticks. So how do you want to exemplify Christ? It should be in a way that doesn't confuse people.
Yes,
you know?
Dwayne.
Yeah. I was saying, like, a lot of times when people think of, okay, hey, what would Jesus do, and kind of what the Bible says, like, at least in my mind, like, I'm transported back 2,000 years ago to Jesus living there. It's like, okay, hey, if Jesus were to live here today, what would it look like? And it's like, okay, that's what my life should exemplify. That's what my life should show.
Yeah.
Yeah. I will wrap up with this. Then whether I come and see you again or only hear about you, I will know that you are standing together, unified, right? Together with one spirit and one purpose. Wait for it. One thing he's saying. Fighting together for the faith, which is the good news.
Purpose. Looking for purpose is right there.
He talks about so much about the good news. We're usually spreading fake news.
Or news that's only good for us.
Or busybody news. Did you hear about this person?
Mm-hmm.
Did you hear what they did in that department? Did you hear about this person's marriage? And not the good news that somebody comes to you. Like, wouldn't it be awesome if it was flipped? Instead, you bring in this news about other people being busybody. Somebody brings you this news. Did you hear about this person's marriage? Oh my gosh, I'm going to start praying for that marriage because I know there's pain involved in
it's good.
broken relationships. I hope that Jesus brings that back. I need to go and pray for that person. That's how we begin to spread the good news. It's not necessarily being people that know the Bible inside and out. It's that the good news is hope and faith, for the faith which is the good news, that there is something better than this world.
Yeah. And in that, as you spread hope and do like what makes sense in a moment, like, you will be teed up to speak of Jesus. You will get to a point where you can say, hey, it's because of Jesus's love. He sees you, he recognizes you, but you gotta keep spreading that hope for people, and not in a way that just turns them off or puts them on their heels. You know what I mean? You will get, if you stay faithful with them, you will get a chance to tell them about you. And sometimes it's right away.
Yeah.
But
I feel like we got to finish at verse 28, I think is, don't be intimidated in any way by your enemies. This will be a sign to them that they are going to be destroyed, but that you are going to be saved, even by God himself. For you must have been given not only the privilege of trusting in Christ, but also the privilege of suffering for him. Meaning, if you say, I'm going to go pray for that, and somebody gives you a hard time about it, it's like, hey, listen, actually, okay, make fun of me for that. Give me a hard time. Call me Jesus freak. That's a good album out there by DC Talk, right? It's like, just find the positive and focus on that, not the negative. Well, if I speak up, I could lose my job. You could also not lose your job. You could also change somebody's life. There's a lot there. I hope you guys spend time rereading this week and pull out. I mean, there's a ton here. I feel like a locker room speech in a sense. Don't be intimidated. I just feel like I'd be shouting that and getting ready to go for let's go. Let's go. And so I hope you're ready to let's go. I think when I see the together all the time in here in unity, it talks about, man, as we talk about as a church where we're going, may you not go, oh, wait, I can't do the missions trip. That's so far away. It's far away from Minnesota, too. It's not in Minnesota. This is all people moving in a direction, figuring out and going, I'm going to figure that out. Let's go. Let's be unified. Let's go together. Let's figure out how to spread the good news. Let's invite as many people as we can to this stream every Sunday. We've proven we're here at around 8 o'clock every week. Let's start posting every week, hey, come to church with me online, here's the link, or going to where we say something that you're like, I like that piece, you can move the little timeline figure in YouTube, copy, paste that link, and it'll say, do you want the timestamp in it, so that when somebody clicks that link, it brings them right to the point where you, like, this is good.
Yeah.
And those are the steps where we're digitally inviting people to online. Because why? We get to spread the good news. We get to speak into people's messages. So I hope that today you're excited. I hope that Jesus spoke to you. You're going to do something about it. Thank you so much for hanging with us. Let me pray really quick. Jesus, I just pray that people are excited where they're at. Despite their circumstances, I don't know where everybody's at today. I don't know the giants that are in their life, the walls they're trying to climb. I don't know if people are at the top of the mountain or the bottom of the mountain. I just pray right now that you would speak to them clearly what their next steps are, that we would be spreading the good news, that we would be out there telling the world about the good news to every last person. May we figure out how to do that, that's comfortable for us, that makes sense for us, that's authentic, but use us. May we get some of the perspective of Paul, and may we just take out a lot of this truth and apply on our journey, our quest, our adventure of finding happiness. And for those that are up against it, I just ask you, give them strength, that you would today have encouraged them in some way. Jesus, we love you. In your name, amen.
Amen.
Thank you, everybody, for being in today. I hope you're excited about your church today, what we're up to, and what God's calling us to do. Again, log in on Thursday, 8 o'clock Central Time, to be a part of a Vision Night, and it's really going to be the nuts and bolts of a budget. It's not going to be much more than that. We're going to just get into the budget side of things, and it will be a go-to Zoom-style meeting, but you're not going to be on camera. It's just going to be a presentation where you'll be able to text in questions as you have questions. So don't miss that. If you call this home or you give, you can see how does Unlock Church use the resources and understand, again, what to pray for. That said, Lily's going to tell you how to give, and we make it super easy here, Lil, right?
We do. Also, I just put the link to our Discord server. Discord is like a chat room. I don't think the link is live, but if you screenshot that and then type it in letter for letter in Discord, you can jump in and chat with us throughout the week. Anyways, we make it super simple to give here at Unlock. You can text the word Unlock to 77977, or you can go to unlockchurch.com/give, and that's how you do it.
That's so simple. And then we've covered all the other things we're doing around here, so we don't have any other upcoming events other than thank you so much for hanging with us. It's been a pleasure today. I've enjoyed today. I hope you have. And if you need anything, you can text the church. If you need prayer, please text the church with your prayer request. The number is this. We'll put it on the screen for you. Write it down. Save it in your phone, 651-276-8797. Put that in your phone as Unlock Church. Whenever you need something, you can text that church, and within a reasonable time, which could be 24 hours or whatever, somebody will respond to you, and we'll share it in a email to the church. If you're not part of the church email, you can go to unlockchurch/connect, fill out that, and we'll be able to get on the church's email so you can stay in on what's happening, because that's where the link will be this week for the Vision Night budget meeting. Okay? Thank you, everybody. Have a fabulous Sunday.
Bye, Dwayne.
Bye, Dwayne. Thank you, Lily. I almost forget all the time, and I don't like doing that to Dwayne.
Bye, Dwayne.
Dwayne, thanks
Have a
for...
great week.
Bye, guys.
Dwayne, she saved me. I would have had to text you on my way in. So, bye, Dwayne.
No.
No.
Bye.
Bye, everybody. Have a great week.
Bye.